What up? It's K.Honesty, and I'm about to review the Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 15 Reunion Part 1. So if you haven't seen Part 1 of the Season 15 reunion of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, turn this video off right now. Go watch the first part of the reunion. Come back and watch this review. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. It is a simple and free way to support my channel, and it literally takes less than 4 seconds. So if you're spending 4 seconds watching this review, you could definitely hit that like button and hit the subscribe button, because I don't only review the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I am also not a public speaker, so I will tend to stutter. I might pause to regain my thoughts. Definitely going to be looking at my notes that I take throughout the show. Definitely going to hear and so thrown about thousands of times. It is what it is. And anything I say is my opinion. It does not reflect anyone or anything associated with the show. These are my thoughts and expressions and how I feel. Anybody paying me to be biased or any of that crazy nonsense. Did I forget to say anything? I don't think so. Of course, I got my handy dandy water bottle, but I'm finishing my coffee, so I'm almost done. I might grab my coffee, might grab my water. It is what it is. I think that's it. I like to grade the episodes before and after my reviews. This reunion was very slow and dry. I'm gonna have to give this reunion like a C-. It didn't really give me nothing. Most of the stuff they talked about was stuff I had already seen from previous clips or already had heard about online, or it's mostly what it was for me. Alright, so let's get into it. Last chance. If you haven't seen part 1 of season 15 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, turn this video. If you haven't seen the part 1 reunion of season 15 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta, turn this video off right now, because I'm about to spoil the entire part 1. Okay? I don't want to spoil it for people that ain't seen it. Y'all know, as always, I got a chief as I chat. Chief in the chat. Let me get this young lit right first before I start talking. Because I noticed that I just spark it and then start talking, and then the whole time I'm talking, I'm trying to focus on getting it lit the right way. When instead, I should just get it lit the right way and then start talking. That way I could just be smoking. And you know, yeah, you know what I mean. Y'all smokers know what I mean. Let me get this down. And it's a roach J, so I know this junk gonna burn slow as hell. I'm already high. Shit, I just did 2 reviews and hit 2 J's before this. It is what it is. Go check out my reviews of the Shy and Power Force review. The premiere jump. Okay, so the reunion starts, of course. They got Andy ass sitting. They set the reunion up like Portugal's style. Like when Sheree took them to Portugal and they had the little healing thing, meditation thing. So they got it set up like that with the pillows on the floor. Andy ass praying. I'm like, yeah, you better pray, because they about to get on your nerves. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I get Andy is Bravo, but it's just like, for every now and again, can we have a different host? Even if Andy got to be there, like they did with Real Housewives of Potomac, they had Nicki Minaj host some of it, and he hosted. I ain't saying bring her back, but like bring other people back. I feel like as far as last season's Real Housewives of Potomac, they should have definitely had somebody of color hosting that reunion. Anyway, I don't went off topic. Anyway, so the reunion starts. Please bear with me, because this is my first time reviewing a reunion show. So I don't even know how I was supposed to go about writing stuff down. I just wrote down what I felt like was important on this reunion. Or stuff that I didn't. I don't know. Some stuff I wrote down I did already know. Some stuff I wrote down I didn't know. And I'm just getting my comments on the stuff that I talk about. Of course, that's what the review is. But yeah. I ain't never reviewed a reunion before, so I'm trying to figure out how to go about this. But anyway, so we already knew Drew and Ralph, they still living together. And co-parenting the kids. We saw that at the end of the finale, when they show how their life was going in their life. Sonya's there, belly poking out. She looks super cute. To me, best dressed would have to be Sonya. I know it's simple, but For me, best dressed was Sonya, I feel like. And then second, I would probably say Sheree. I like what Sheree had on, but I didn't like that corset situation. It was weird. Everybody else, I ain't really care for. Courtney, I did like Courtney's outfit. I'm not even gonna lie. Courtney, I did like Courtney's outfit. But we'll get back to the looks. I want to go in order about what they talked about. We'll definitely get back to the looks when they do the little Marlo's fashion corner. So we found out that Sonya is due on Christmas Day. And she knows she probably ain't gonna have that baby on Christmas Day. I'm thinking she might have had a boy. I mean, she might be having a boy. I know the theme of the reunion was like, I know the color was like blue, but I just feel like she was just wearing that dress so well. It made me feel like, is she having a boy? I don't know. So they talk a little bit about this mystery child that Bob had. So Sheree shares that Bob and Candace never even got a blood test. They just came about and said that was Bob's daughter. Then they asked why they feel like the kids never told her. She said they probably just felt I wouldn't care, or like her daughter Tierra said maybe they just thought she already knew, didn't want to talk about it. So they started talking about Candy and Drew saying that Sheree trying to look like Drew. So Candy pulls up a picture and says, I was talking about this specific picture. And shows it to Andy and Sheree. And Drew's like, yeah, it's giving very much. She's trying to look like me. Sheree had to say, that was me on my worst day. So if she think, I was just like, damn. Well, damn. That was you on your worst day. Looking like Drew. I was like, the shade done already started. So we get to the status of Sheree and Martell's. We already knew. She said, we still hang out time to time. But I'm just more focused on me. I have to focus on me. Kanye even brings up the fact that apparently on his other show, he was threatening to release some revenge porn on his ex-wife, ex-girlfriend, whatever it is. She's just trying to make it, because Andy was like, it's just been a lie, right? Sheree was like, yeah, it was just too much from here and there. And it's like, nigga, I mean, girl, we've been hearing stuff about this man before y'all even came out on the show. So why you acting like you just hearing this stuff? Whatever works for you, Sheree. So this is when Andy asked Kanye, he was like, she said, he asked her, why did she wait to, basically till cameras was rolling to show Sheree the DM, or bring up the DM about Martell DMing her. So she was like, oh, I waited because at first I didn't think that they were serious, that Martell and Sheree was serious. They was catching Kenya ass up in this part one. I ain't even gonna hold you. I was like, is this a part of their campaign? Because, you know, they said Kenya been online going off and stuff. And she had that interview with the Carlos King dude coming for production and stuff. For Favor and Marlo. And Candy. So I feel like this is them trying to come back at her. I don't know. I don't know when that Carlos and King interview aired and when the reunion was filmed. I don't know. I don't know if they overlap, whatever. So, yeah, King is like, I didn't think I didn't think Sheree and Marcel was serious. Sheree was like, well, then why bring it up at all then? So Kenya was like, well, that wasn't until the show aired and you two said out your mouth that you were a couple. So I was just like, no, Kenya. You wanted to bring it up because you wanted a moment. You wanted you wanted to produce a moment. That's what it was. Trying to act like you wanted to wait because they finally said. And then, like, did they even say out their mouth? Oh, yeah, they did say at the on the premiere they was dating. Anyway. So, Andy brings up Sheree comment saying that Kenya never has a man around. And Sheree was like, she was saying in that moment because Kenya said she didn't have a man to match Martell's energy. So Kenya was like, I don't need a man to validate me. So her and Sheree started going back and forth, you know. That's all I wrote. When the argument started, I just be like, oh, they went back and forth. Because I'm not about to write down everything that was said while they yelling over each other. So I can't remember what Andy asked somebody something. And then went and asked Kenya, please tell me your divorce is over. Like, trying to shade Kenya, I felt like. So this is when Kenya was like, nope. Mark has filed 2 more contempt charges against her. 1 for allegedly not letting him see his child. And 2 for the episode where Marlo was kicking the door in Alabama. And Kenya was like, my child was in here. So Andy's like, Marlo, how does that feel to know that this has become a problem? Marlo was like, I apologize. She tried to apologize. She was like, I hate that Brooklyn got in between our mess. It was the way she said it. I could get why Kenya was annoyed by the way she said it. But Marlo was apologizing the best way she knew how, I guess, child. She was like, I hate that Brooklyn got in the middle of our mess. And Kenya was like, what? What? And Andy was like, I think she's trying to apologize. This is when Kenya was like, I don't want to hear that fake apology. She was like, because of that, now it's done got legal. And then pulled the paper from behind her, talking about this here is a subpoena for you to be served. I mean, I'm serving you with subpoena. So Andy grabs the damn paper, opens it up. He's like, the paper is blank. And everybody started dying laughing. And Kenya's like, oh, that must be the wrong one. And I was just like, what the hell are you doing, Kenya? Marlo trying to act like her. She know her ass was nervous. It was quiet as hell until Andy said it was blank. Then Marlo want to be laughing with the girl. Ah, she really got the blank paper. Girl, you know you was scared. You know you was nervous a little bit. So Kenya was like, Kenya says Marlo was texting Mark about 2 years ago. And it's a part of her discovery in court. Says Marlo tried to call Mark and get dirt on her. And Andy was like, did you see the text messages? And Kenya was like, well, no. And Andy was like, well, did you hear the phone conversation? And Kenya was like, well, no, Mark told me. And it was just like, we can't believe you right now. You're like, Kenya just, it was like they was getting her bad. Like she was getting caught up bad. So they started talking about Sheree's birthday dinner. And Sheree's like, well, if I invite a group of my friends, then Andy was like, that means you pay, right? And Sheree was like, me? Pay? And he was like, you have a very interesting relationship with bills. I was like, the way he just whitewashed the shit out of bitch, you don't pay your shit. So this is when Sheree pulls out a receipt, if you will, of the woman who helped her with her She by Sheree fashion show last season. It's a receipt of her saying that she was paid in full by Sheree, because apparently Candy was saying she didn't get paid or something like that. So then Sheree and Candy start going back and forth. This is when Sheree pulls out fucking She News. Whole damn magazine. Kenya was like, am I in it? And he was like, no. She was like, well, it's trash. I thought that was funny. I get Kenya that one. I thought that was funny. She said, am I in it? It's trash then. Kenya was like, Sheree, why am I not on the cover? Sheree was like, I couldn't find a good picture. Everybody's like, oh. Sheree tried to soften it up, talking about something. Well, you just have so many good pictures. I was like, oh my God. Sheree funny, man. The way she tried to smoothen that out. You have plenty of good pictures. I couldn't pick one. Just say you was focused on Candy at the time, because that's what the whole magazine was about. Because Andy said the first 6 pages was dedicated to taking down Candy's restaurants, like bad reviews and stuff of her restaurants. And the last 2 pages were about, I didn't even know Candy had a retail store, but apparently she has this retail store called Tags, and apparently they steal looks from Shein and AliExpress. And that's what the last 2 pages was dedicated to. You know when you hit the jet and you inhale and the weed fly back, you try to grab it with your tongue, or you just end up swallowing a piece of weed. I hate swallowing a piece of weed. It's be weird. So Candy says, well, as far as my tags, like we don't be out here pretending like we got original fashions like She by Sheree. She by Sheree is saying that they got original fashions but stealing from Shein. That's what Candy trying to say. So Andy asked the ladies, so you remember in Portugal, they all ordered something from She by Sheree. So Andy asked them, have you all received your She by Sheree since you ordered in Portugal? They all was like, yeah. Sheree said she hand-delivered. She personally delivered her She by Sheree to Candy. Like, you should be doing that to Drew. She was the one talking the most ish at the beginning of the season. So Andy asked Sheree, has She by Sheree turned a profit yet? And Sheree's like, well, you know, it takes 2 to 3 years for a business to turn a profit. So, you know, we haven't, but I'm working on it. I'm like, at least you being honest now instead of saying spring, summer. So this is when Sheree gifts Drew a She by Sheree bag. But she puts the bag on Candy's laptop to let Candy open it. And she opened it. It's one of those director cut things for Candy to say and sing. And I'm just like, how y'all was just going at it, but then you go up to her like ain't nothing just happened. So I'm like, open the bag, Candy. It was weird. And then why was that? That whole thing was just weird. I didn't get that. Why give that to Candy to have her do that? It was like he was shading Drew but gifting her at the same time. So this is when Andy asked Drew, how's it been working with Candy and Todd, the movie? Drew was like, it was intense, 10 days. That's intense. She was like, but it was all top tier. Like, the trailer was nice. The food was good. She ain't had no bad complaints. So this is when Andy asked Candy, she was like, oh, how do you feel about Drew saying after this movie she only going to do Lifetime and above? Candy don't say no, but child, please. So this is when Drew shares that when Todd and them originally came to her team, or her agent or whatever, with the price or whatever you want to call it, they declined it because it was so low, I guess. She says, but then her and Todd had a conversation and she felt like she'd just do it for the greater, like basically help them out. And I'm just like, girl, I mean, I get it, you're an actress, but it's just like, you ain't no A-list. She acting like she really A-list out here. If you was A-list, you wouldn't need to be on the Real Housewives of Atlanta right now. So this is when Andy asked Kenya, what's the difference between you shading Drew's music video, calling it low budget, and saying that when she was singing with Candace, woo woo woo, we want more. How's that different between Drew shade and Kenya saying she ain't been in the movie since 22 years ago in Trois? So here go Kenya. That's because I was using fun shade. And I done heard Kenya say this so many times. Anytime somebody be like, Kenya, she was like, well, that's fun shade. That's funny shade. And it's just like, this how y'all come at just like y'all come at Marlo talking about she don't like, dang, what is it? Dang. Just like y'all come at Marlo and be like, everybody don't do shade like you, Marlo. You do, like, your shade is different. Some people might not do the type shade that you do, Kenya. You always talking about fun shade, but then try to back it up. It's just saying it's fun shade. It's not always fun shade for some people. And then she says the woo-woo comment moment. She was saying that she wanted more because she actually wanted more because she feel like Drew is that talented. And Drew was like, well, I just wanted more support from my friend. You can't never, I don't know, Drew. She just be annoying. So Kenya was like, well, I felt like my support was me being there, but I apologize. I'm just like... So Andy asked Candy. Told y'all I be stuttering. She asked Candy. He asked Candy. Was she upset saying Drew say that that Candy's making up this kissing Latoya thing just to promote her movie? So Kenya was like, hell yeah, I was upset. Because first of all, that stuff happened way before the movie was even thought of. And Drew was like, well, why was you on live saying, if I misread the situation, then my bad. And Candy said, well, that was me trying to leave the situation alone because I felt like you basically, I guess, didn't want it to be out because of you married. And basically, it was just like, that was Candy saying, forget it. We just going to agree to disagree. Stop talking about it. So her and Drew started going back and forth. So Candy was like, I seen it. Kenya seen it. Marlo seen it. Here go Marlo ass backtracking. I only seen 80%. Candy's like, here you go with that 80% again. Marlo's like, I seen Drew and Latoya this close, and puts her face on Sheree. And Drew like, so we were talking. So I was like, Marlo just backtracking now. Talking about she don't know if she saw. I'm just like, okay. So this is what Candy says. I couldn't believe Candy said this. She said, people always saying that Ralph gaslights you, but sitting on this couch right now with all these lies, I feel like you might be the one that gaslights Ralph. All the ladies was like, ooh. She was like, because you was just calling her a liar multiple times. So this is when Drew, because Kenya is sitting between Candy and Drew. So Drew leans over past Kenya and is like, to Candy, are we good? Everybody like, hell no, girl. Like, what the hell? Are you not reading the room right? Y'all not good. Drew was like, I don't understand. I'm just trying to let it be known. Like when did I lie? And then they show a clip, 2 clips. One of her saying she kissed a woman before. One of her saying she never kissed a woman before. And I'm just like, this is why we can't believe you. I'm like, when they did that clip that they digged up of her saying she kissed the girl looked old. But they found that bitch. So it's just like, this is why we don't believe you, Drew. This is why we don't believe you, bruh. This is when Andy Shady ass bring up the fact that Drew was like, I've been to South Africa, but not Africa. And the fact that Kenya thought Portugal was in Spain. Kenya was like, I'm not good at geometry. I was like, man, ain't GEDs free? So Andy asked Drew, is there any new light you could shed on the whole status of your divorce? Later on when Ralph comes out, Drew's like, well, we'll see because I got my kids to think about. Plus we still married. It's all still fresh. So the ladies, they optimistic. They like, oh yeah, you guys, I feel like you guys can work it out. Sonya most of all. Marlo was like, yeah, Ralph hit me up. I told him I hope you guys work things out. And Drew looking like, and Sheree like, well, he done hit you up before, Marlo. Marlo was like, yeah, Drew gave him my number, so Drew ain't had nothing to say. She was just sitting there like, I mean, you gave him your number, her number. And this is what happens. This is what your husband did. So they bring out the friend of Monietta and Courtney. Like I said, I like Courtney's outfit. So this is when Andy asked Courtney, how exactly are you related to Ralph? And they told us this on the first episode. When they first found out they was cousins at Ross's birthday party. They came up to somebody and was like, we're cousins. Here's such and such and such and such. Courtney's dad's sister is married to Ralph's uncle. So they technically not even related. They related through marriage. And as soon as you say married to, it ain't technically related. Y'all ain't got the same blood running through y'all system or nothing like that. So Drew, she throws a plum at Courtney. I didn't get the reference. I was like, because she not find a peach? Oh, excuse me. So she throws this plum at Courtney, Andy ass goes, retrieves it, takes a bite out of it. The joint sounded juicy as hell when he took the bite. I was like, y'all wasting good plums. I love me a good plum. So Marlo shares that her and Scally are still dating. Says she ain't met his kids, he ain't met the nephews yet. They just still having fun. I wasn't expecting to hear that. I thought they was gonna be saying they was over. So Andy was like, have you guys had sex? And Marlo was like, y'all know I had sex with that man. I feel like she could be lying about that. Because on the finale, when he came to the archive, they didn't even kiss on the lips or nothing. It was weird. Not saying that you got to kiss on the lips every time you see your spouse, but that's just kind of like habit, you know? So apparently Courtney's still helping Marlo get her record expunged. Phaedra Parks is too as well, apparently. Yeah, I feel like I sneeze. That's why I keep pausing, but it ain't coming. So Andy, this is when he asked Kenya, how did you feel when you heard that Marlo and Roy went on this date? So, you know, Kenya, she throwing shade at Marlo. You know, it wasn't really a date because he didn't leave any money on the dresser. All types of stuff coming at Marlo. Marlo just smiling. One thing I noticed about Marlo, this Marlo's second season, ain't it? But every time I notice, what I be noticing about Marlo, all season long, she be in her confessional shading the girls. So every now and again, she arguing with the girls on the show and all. She gets to that reunion and she quiet as a mouse. She act like she didn't do nothing all season. And she just be quiet like she ain't got no issue with nobody. It be crazy. So she just sitting there smiling as Kenya's calling her a $2 hoe, basically. So this when Andy asked Kenya, why didn't Roy come around as much like during the season or whatever? So Kenya tries to blame it on Marlo, saying Marlo, he was turned off by what Marlo said about them dating and something about him popping her cherry. And I was just like, what? Candy was like, Candy hit the Porsche. Who said that? So this is when Andy was like, well, all that stuff happened when we were wrapped. So why didn't he come around? And Kenya was like, well, he saw it in the super teaser. And Andy was like, well, the super teaser is filmed before, after we wrap too. Before we wrap too. So Kenya just wasn't making sense. She was like, this successful man is just, he don't want to be embarrassed by it. I'm just like, girl, it's hurting your soul that Marlo went out with somebody that you dating currently. It's probably hurting your soul that you gotta sit in the same room with her. But I was like, they just keep catching Kenya up on this episode. on this reunion. So I know Drew knew her mic was on. But this is one of the little parts where they getting the housewives back. They doing little checks and stuff on them before they go back to filming. And you hear Shay in Sheree's bag. So hand me my She by Shein bag. And I'm just like, I know Drew and Sheree had their differences, but in this moment on this reunion, they don't have as much problems as Drew has problems with other people on the couch. So I'm like, of all the people you want to throw shade at somebody you don't currently have a problem with on this couch right now. And this is why people be having a problem with your ass, Drew. This is exactly why. So this is when we get Marlo's little fashion corner. And he was like, I love the little fashion corner you did at the Gucci brunch. Can you get one for the ladies' looks tonight? Marlo was being very subtle. I'm like, you supposed to kept it a hundo. She basically gave everybody good compliments except for like Drew and Kenya. What did she say Marietta? I think she said Marietta looked like prom queen or something like that. I don't remember. But she said Candy looked good. She said she liked the boobs and all that. She said Kenya was doing too much with the feathers and stuff, looking like a peacock. And she said she didn't like Kenya's hair. I didn't like Kenya's hair neither. It looks stiff. I don't know. I ain't really like the feathers neither. She said Drew looked good except for something. I think she said Drew's shoes wasn't good looking. But everybody on her side, she gave him good compliments. Kenya said she looked like somebody from Three's Company. And Andy was cracking up because, you know, he white, so he probably watched that show. But I didn't know who the hell she was talking about. And this is why sometimes I be saying Kenya is... This is why sometimes I be saying Kenya is a Karen. Because, like, why you ain't give us a black reference? Half of them black women on that stage probably don't know what Three's Company is. I know what it is, but I ain't watched it. So I wouldn't even be able to get the reference. But Marlo gives everybody on her side good critiques. Sonya, Sheree, Courtney. But like I said, I felt like best dressed for me was definitely Sonya. And then I would have to give it to Courtney. And then I would give it to Sheree. But I just wish Sheree wouldn't have wore that corset with it. I mean, Marlo, she looked good, but it's like you was talking about you lost weight, you on a diet and all that, whatever you doing. But then you wear this big old jump that don't show your figure and show the pounds you lost. I wasn't really feeling Marlo's outfit either. Like I said, I would say Sonya, Courtney, Sheree. Sheree without the corset. Everybody else was there. So this is when they bring up the whole collusion thing. Andy asked Marietta, what made you feel like you was witnessing a collusion? So Marietta was saying she heard Courtney say she wouldn't go against Sheree. And I'm just like, do we forget that Sheree did? Sheree's the one that brought Courtney on the show as the friend of. So Courtney and Sheree knew each other before she knew Drew. Not saying that would justify them colluding if they was, but for her to say that, it ain't far-fetched because she knew Sheree first. Sheree brought her on the show. So Sonya explains to Marietta, we was literally talking about the argument that had just happened between Candy and Drew. And we was imitating each person or whatever. And this is when Courtney says, I was imitating Drew talking about LaToya when I said this bitch. So they cleared that up. That's what we found out. That LaToya was imitating Drew when she was saying it. Plus, everybody was drinking that night. It was late. Like, you don't know what really happened. Except for from what Candy would tell, because Candy don't drink. Man, I knew I had some weed in my damn tongue. So Andy asked Candy how she felt about seeing Sheree and Sonya just laugh at Courtney, basically saying her people are ghetto. So Sonya tries to say she forgot she laughed. But then says in that same breath that she took up for Candy and said, Candy's my friend, so you got to tell her, or I'm going to have to tell her. I don't remember saying that. I remember saying that, but not in the same conversation when they was talking about the ghetto audience or whatever. I feel like she said that when they was talking about something else. But Candy was just like, I just want you to say what you actually did. I don't want to have to see it on TV. So her and Sonya had that little bit back and forth. So then they talk about Marlo slamming the door on Marietta. And apparently when that episode aired, Marietta went online calling Sheree and Marlo hyenas. Or whoever was following behind Marlo that day. Called them hyenas online. And then Sheree says after she seen the episode, she realized she was a few people behind. So she really didn't see what was happening. So she was like, so are you going to, she asked Marietta, Sheree asked Marietta, so you going to apologize for calling me a hyena? And Marietta was like, no, y'all was acting like hyenas that day. Yeah, Sheree said she was just trying to keep the peace. Trying to pipe up on Mayetta a little bit. Mayetta's like, I'm not apologizing. So Andy asked Marlo, why'd you send the recording? Because first Andy was like, why is it a big deal that things were being recorded like y'all on a reality show? So Mayetta was like, I just had a problem with Marlo sending it to somebody that wasn't in the group. So Andy asked Marlo, why did you send it to LaToya? LaToya was like, Marlo was like, well, I thought LaToya ass was going to tell the truth. We all did. But then LaToya come on the damn show backtracking, and I don't even know what LaToya, it wasn't even backtracking what she was doing. It was just confusion. It was like, did you kiss or not? So Andy asked Kenya about her hair spa. We were supposed to see a reveal. Wasn't we supposed to have a Kenya hair spa finale or episode before the finale or something? So they show a little clip of her soft opening. She says, but they closed it back down to do renovations to make a second floor. That way she won't have to do it in the after it's already been open and thriving. And I was like, damn, what happened to that scene with Kenya and her hair spa? Because I remember seeing that in the trailer. I remember them talking about it. I remember when she took her friend Akila there when it wasn't built yet. She had a little hard hat on. It was like, this going to be here and that's going to be there. It's a shame when you see that. So then Andy, Candy, one of her storylines this season has been, she's been super busy and been missing events and stuff. So Andy's like, well, of course, these questions are supposedly coming from the fans. I feel like Andy be putting his stank on the questions. But it is what it is. So he's like, Candy, do you even want to be on the show? You done missed a lot of events. And I was like, she only missed like 2 or 3 events. Like, they act like she missed so many. She missed what? The Alabama trip. And she missed Drew's video shoot. That's it. I can't think of nothing else she missed. She missed Sheree's birthday dinner because she didn't get invited. But I'm like, they be acting like Candy really missed something. And it's like, the shit she got going on, what you think more important? A damn video at a skating rink or an Alabama trip that went down the drain? Like, come on. So Candy says, I do want to be on this show. I just feel like I must have bitten off more than I can chew. Coming straight off of... She said she came straight off from filming the SWV and Escape show. And we all saw how that played out. So Candy just tired. So this is when Andy brings up Mayetta saying that Drew told her that Ty was her crush. So Andy's like, well, after Drew telling you that, Mayetta, does that make you think that they are a thing? So Drew's like, well, it was just a joke. Because Mayetta was like, well, I thought maybe, but after I reached out to Drew and she told me what it was, and Drew was like, it was just all a joke. You can see the cast face. They like, oh, this is some shit. This is some bullshit. Drew was like, I'm just joking. We're on a movie about lesbian lovers, and it was a joke. So Andy asked Courtney, how does Ralph feel about these rumors and all that? Courtney's like, well, Ralph, he's hurt by Drew's actions and da-da-da. I was just like, oh gosh, Courtney, you ain't even known them that long. People are speculating that Ralph and Courtney might be sleeping together. Because like in this moment, Drew was like, Courtney knows nothing about me and Ralph. She just met Ralph 10 minutes ago. He's been coaching her all season. That's what it gives. Like, I feel like he's been just telling her stuff. Because remember, what was it, last episode, episode before last? Drew and Ralph was going at it. Allison intervened, and Ralph was like, oh, Allison, you called Drew a bitch before, haven't you? And then in that same episode later on, what's her name? Courtney was at Allison like, oh, I know you called her a bitch before. And Allison was like, you got that shit from Ralph. And no, I haven't. So, I wouldn't put it past them. I don't know. Like I said, they ain't related for real. And I feel like she just up there defending the hell out of Ralph. Not saying Drew not guilty. Drew be doing some dumb shit. Drew be doing some shit too. But it's just like, Courtney, chill out, girl. You a friend of. You done got yourself too involved. So this is when Drew pipes up on Courtney. Don't you ever. She gonna say, I'm from Chicago, bitch. Like, don't you ever put my son's name in your mouth. Blah, blah, blah. Courtney was like, I didn't speak on your son. Everybody was like, yes, you did. Drew was like, you thought it wasn't being recorded, dumbass. And then they showed the clip, and then Courtney was like, I did know I was being recorded. That's why I said it more than once. And I'm just like, how you just say you didn't speak on her son? Then say I did know I was being recorded because I said it more than once. Which one is it, Courtney? That's what I be saying. She's like the queen of backtrack. I think I called her that last episode. Backtrack Courtney. She's just always backtracking. And you know, that's how I end Courtney and Drew going back and forth. Next week, we're going to see Ralph rockhead ass. I don't even get... This episode, I mean, this reunion. I feel like this reunion could have been one part, and then they could have just put out a special like 2 weeks from now. Drew and Ralph sit down. Like they did with, what's her name from Married to Medicine? Quad. And I forgot her ex-husband name. Like they did with them. Just had them have a little sit down. We didn't need this second part to be... They only did that because they ain't got no husbands to talk to. They only got Todd and Ross. None of these bitches got husbands. But yeah, like I said, I would rate this joint. I mean, I would grade this joint a C minus because it was very slow, and the stuff they was talking about I already knew. It was just like I didn't really learn nothing. It was just very slow, and the shade was there, but it was just very. The arguments wasn't given the way they were supposed to be. I don't know, but predictions for this final part of the reunion. Well, we all see Drew storm up, get out. That's why I said I feel like Drew and Ralph should just had a special where they sit down and talk to each other, not the whole damn cast band in there. That was weird. But it's just about to be a whole bunch of gaslighting from both parties. You know, Courtney gonna be piping it up for her fake cousin that she probably getting piped up by. And then I think we see briefly Sonya talks about her miscarriage, which was so sad, but I'm glad she got this rainbow baby. Those are my little, I mean, those ain't even predictions. That's what I saw happen. That's what I saw gonna happen. Thanks for watching this review. Please like this review and comment below what you would grade the review. What you would grade the reunion, all that stuff. What you would grade the review, if I forgot anything, if I was off on anything, what you liked about the reunion, all that good bad stuff, comment below. And subscribe to my channel because I don't only review the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I review other shows as well, like The Shy and like Power, Book 4, Force. I just did my reviews for those two, so go check those out. Just did those two before I did this one. This is my last review, so now I can chillax. And I will see y'all in the next review. Peace out.